Welcome back everyone to F1 2016 Career Mode Part 9. We are at the Austrian Grand Prix. We're just looking out over the circuit as Anthony Davidson joins in and is pointing at something over there as we track him and joins that lovely sofa. We're glued to this chair as usual and we're here for Part 9. Red Bull and Williams. Williams have made massive upgrades this weekend by the looks of things for their car, so they're going to be stretching their legs trying to get up and involved as part of that top team business. Austria is a good track. I quite like the Austrian Grand Prix. It hasn't produced many great races recently, but I like it. Honestly, I like the way it flows. I like the short lap, low, medium and high speed corners, so no complaints. You know, it's got a little bit of everything, even though it has only got sort of 9 corners there. Just having a look at our upgrade, I was having a quick mental note on what I wanted to upgrade, and I'm thinking the next big things for ourselves now. We got the second upgrade for drag and engine. We're probably going to have to look at things like chassis weight, downforce, maybe the drag again. You know, we can afford the third upgrade for the drag. And of course, due to our recent run of form, we're going to be looking to try and add another trophy to the collection for this weekend in Austria. And I feel confident about Austria because, you know, I just feel I go well here. Anyway, moving on to the track acclimatization, I actually had to do the 3 laps. The gate's very weird around Austria, like they don't fit my line, as it were, but we did alright. You know, we got the 50 point of the track acclimatizations. That's exactly what we needed, as we only failed the first couple of gates there. Moving on to the tyre wear, I'm not very good at high speed corners, especially on the pad. So you can see a lot of greens. There was a red to begin with there, but once you get the hang of the tyre wear test, it's not too bad. So we'll move in and we'll complete that there. So it's only 30 points, but it's 30 points we wouldn't have had. And again, just finally, as we went on to practice 3, here comes the qualifying pace program. We didn't get it right on the first lap. Thankfully, as we come through off the final corner, you'll see we're going to get it absolutely fine for the second lap for, again, 30 points on the super soft tyre. This is actually Q3. I've cut all the way into our lap in Q3. I waited for people to not be on the circuit. This was the only lap we did on ultra soft tyres, and we do a 108.86, which puts us 5th at the time, only 4 tenths behind Daniel Ricciardo, and you'll see that we actually end up in 6th place. So 6th place on the grid, far out qualifying Kevin Magnussen, our teammate, so no real complaints there. You know, I like to do well in the qualifying, and I think it's time for the Austrian Grand Prix.
What a beautiful backdrop to a motor race. We're here in the Styrian Mountains, of course, and they've watched over some cracking races throughout the history of this Grand Prix. Controversy, of course, think back to 2002, but also great joy. Do you remember Niki Lauda's historic home victory in 1984? The Red Bull Ring then, 700 metres above sea level. This tough circuit may only have 9 corners, but they're fast and they're bumpy. It's a true test for any racing driver. We have 2 DRS zones, and watch out for overtakes into turn 2 as the uphill entry helps those trying to be the last of the late breakers steam up the inside. Anthony Davidson joins me to talk you through the action here today at what is quite an unusual racetrack, wouldn't you say, Ant?
Yeah, it's quite an odd layout around here. The thing about Austria is that it's a harder circuit to master than what really meets the eye. On top of that, it's a low grip surface, and that means that your small mistakes end up being punished, and it's very easy to slide wide into the runoff area and lose a huge chunk of time. Luckily, because it's such a short circuit though, you have plenty of opportunities to perfect the lap.
We need a good result today to cement your #1 status. If we continue to underperform, we might lose it.
I like the way they bring up, if we continue to underperform, did you not watch Azerbaijan where I won the Grand Prix? Having had a look at it, it's either a 2-stop or a 3-stop round here. I was thinking about adjusting sort of the stint, which you're going to see in a moment, but then I realised that I didn't mind what they were proposing here on this high tyre wear. Obviously, we have to run the Ultra Softs due to the fact we ran those in Q2, so you have to use the qualifying tyre from Q2 if you go to Q3. Soft tyres and then bolt on a set of Super Softs right at the end of the race. I had absolutely no issue with that. That strategy sounded good in my head. That low tyre wear one, you know, there was too much overlap at the end in my personal opinion, and even though it was only 9 seconds slower, the extra time in the pit stop didn't seem worth it to me. But here we go. On to Austria then, and we're going to go for the formation lap first of all. We've got Max Verstappen on our left, the 2 Ferraris up ahead. and then we've got one of the Mercedes, and Daniel Ricciardo is on pole. One thing to note as we come to the end of the formation lap, I like to dart between the cars. Daniel Ricciardo did his Q2 time on super soft tyres. That means he's starting on pole and running super soft, so if he can break away at the start of this Grand Prix, he's going to be in a very, very good position, because these ultra softs are not going to last long. 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and it's going Austria. Bump up to Rich. Raikkonen's had an absolute shocker of a start. We're going to tuck in behind Max Verstappen as we head into towards turn 1. There could be contact. There's not. Everyone's been very pedestrian. Rosberg had a go at Ricciardo. It's allowed us to have a worldly run on the exit there, and we're going to go up into the lead. It appears to be our sort of trick these days, is to get the better run out of the corners and jump a mass pack of cars. That's exactly what we've done. Very deep into turn 2, though, so we've got to get the car around. Good run, and we're going to keep Daniel Ricciardo behind us there on that opening lap. We're going to feed into lap 2 now. We're running a little bit wide, and then we've got Ricciardo just sitting behind us on the super soft tyre there. So that's obviously important to note there. You also notice there was a car in the bottom left in the pits. You'll find here that it is Roman Grosjean, who is of course our rival. He's had a front wing change and has gone onto super soft tyres there, so he's at the back of the field and clearly not exactly having a good weekend. But now we're going to cut into lap 3, breaking down into turn 3. We've got it wrong. The car's understeered wide into the gravel, and you're going to notice that's going to allow Ricciardo to sweep on through to us there. So he's going to take the lead. And we're now going to jump on with Nico Rosberg. This is 1 lap later. We managed to retain second place, but Vettel has got the better run. Using DRS, he's going to be able to break down into the third corner and go a little bit wide just to block him off there. So Vettel moves into third position now. As we go on to lap 5, we've been tagged in the rear there by Vettel. I don't know if you heard that, but essentially that looks as if it may have actually broken a little bit of his front wing as we look to proceed now up towards, and now Vettel's coming at us now on the inside. We're going to block off the line, put the car in the middle of the road. Vettel's still there, and it's, there's been more contact. Luckily it hasn't caused a major accident. We're going to jump on board with Sebastian Vettel from his point of view here. Down the inside, he's halfway down, but you're not going to get around that corner, Seb, and you hadn't even tried turning at the point of the corner. Bit of a clumsy accident there, but luckily no major damage to anyone as we even view it from this sort of standpoint. He's down the inside. We gave him enough space up to the point where we needed to turn, essentially. Bit of a clumsy incident, but luckily no one was truly damaged there. We're going to be ducking into the pits. Daniel Ricciardo has of course pulled away on his super soft tyres. Our ultra softs are wearing out at this point, so we're going to duck in at the end of lap 5 and put on the set of a soft compound tyres, and we're going to run on those hopefully until deep into lap 20s. And I think then it'll be the aspect of putting on the super soft tyre to run quickly at the end. You can see now that we're dropping down the field. But at least the positive that you're going to get for this, I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler right now. The positive that you're going to get out of this is that most races you've seen me defending, we're actually going to be making some offensive passing opportunities due to the fact that we're going to have fresh tyres now. It looks as if Hamilton came in on the same lap as us and put on super soft tyres to be able to keep up with us and catch us. So here we go. Hamilton's on the back of us as we come on to lap 7 here. More cars are in the pit lane. You've got a few more. We're going to jump up into 13th place now by the looks of things. We actually kind of went on the grass. That put us out of position for turn 1 there. And now we're going to be 1 lap later as Lewis Hamilton's going to get in the slipstream of the Renault. DRS open, of course. Building up the speed to nearly 200 miles an hour. Doesn't look like he's going to make the move. Then tries to commit to it. Sort of just tapped my side pod and it was more of a half spin. Lap 8 now. We're behind the battle in Rio Haryanto and Nico Hülkenberg. Both on older tyres than us, so they haven't pitted. We're going to carry the momentum through and sweep past Rio Haryanto, and then using our fresher soft compound tyres, we're going to sit in the slipstream of Nico Hülkenberg and try and take him into the penultimate corner. Much better drive off the exit, bit of slipstream, the drag reduction that we've now got, and we're going to duck in there and be back again into the top 10 as we get a little bit wrong, also coming around the final corner there. 1 lap later, we're going to be sitting on the back of Felipe and Nazar in the Sauber. He's on super soft tyres, still yet to pit. We're going to send one down the inside of him, and that puts us up into 9th. There's Perez, who you heard on the team radio there, who had an issue, but is now speeding back up. Unfortunately, not speeding up enough. As on to lap 11, we're going to dive down the inside of turn 2, hang him out to dry, job done, up into 8th place. Now we move on to lap 13 as we're now sitting behind Wehrlein, and I noticed that the front really scrubbed across the track. I had a look at the tyres, and you can see they're 45% worn already on lap 13. Bear in mind, these tyres have now been on for 8 laps. They're nearly at 50% wear already. These tyres are supposed to go without causing too much issue deep into the lap 20s, so that definitely caused some concern for me. You now see Marcus Ericsson looking to peel into the pit lane. We're going to duck him behind Pascal Wehrlein, not quite get him into the final corner, but it sets us in good set for slipstream, DRS, and we're going to get him at the start of lap 14, diving into turn 1, hang him out nicely on the outside, get it prepared for the apex, don't allow him to turn in, and it actually gets Hamilton to duck on through there. I think we're actually going to ride with Pascal as we redo the move here. Of course, the Manor is still the slowest car on the grid in my career, and he's gone out wide, didn't have the ability to turn in. Of course, Hamilton's just going to sweep through as the driver he is. 1 lap later now, Lewis Hamilton dives down the inside on the super soft tyre at one of the penultimate corners. We're going to hang it around the outside, go for a switchback off the final corner, get good drive. Of course, he has the Mercedes engine. Let's jump on board with Hamilton as we go into turn 1 now. We're down the inside. Hamilton does essentially what Wehrlein did. He's gone out wide, and he's also lost a position to the Ferrari there. I believe that's Kimi Räikkönen. And here comes Sergio Perez, I believe, in the Force India to come through. So now lap 17, we're having a bit of a battle with Nico Rosberg, and I've had enough of these tyres. They've only been on for about 12 laps, and that's about all I could take. I'm coming into the pits. Looks like we're going to have to convert this into a 3-stop strategy with 2 more pit stops. Just to put on perspective how bad it was, that was Rosberg behind us in the pit lane. He has now swapped. His super soft tyres went as far as our soft tyres did, so I don't know what the issue is. We just appear to be absolutely chewing through the tyres. Daniel Ricciardo has now got back ahead of us, who was running first at the start of the Grand Prix, as you may remember, and we're going to slot in just behind Lewis Hamilton, who pit the lap before for soft tyres. So he's probably going to be going to the end of the race now if they last as long as they're supposed to. Ericsson looking like he's going to try and get us as we come out of the pit lane here, but we are of course going to build up, brake at the 100-metre board, and we're going to take him under braking. This is our final set of brand new super soft tyres, so bear that in mind. That's not going to get us through to the end of the Grand Prix. So essentially we're now on to lap 19. Hamilton is making the moves, and we need to stick with him if we want to. We can get a good result here. We were net second and net first for most of the opening stint. The only problem being is we're now on the 3-stop strategy. We're going to swing around, get Jensen Button, and we need to basically follow Hamilton through if we still want the ability for a good result. You can see here, lap 22, Hamilton 8th, Wehrlein 9th. We're going to come up into turn 2, and we're going to get very close to Hamilton. There is contact. I think we've damaged, as the engineer's advising, we've damaged our front wing on Hamilton there. And of course, when we slid through past Wehrlein, DRS active though, and we're going to get Hamilton into the braking zone of turn 3, force him out wide. It's lap 22. There's no tyres that will get us through to the end of the race, so we're going to have to stick with this front wing damage. You can see I've requested to be put on ultra softs for the end of the race there, so we're going to try and go quite late as we come to the end of the lap and the start of the very next. So this is the start of lap 23. We're going to go slow-mo here with Lewis Hamilton as we are on board in the DRS by the looks of things. Coming up behind me, it's going to be pulling out of the slipstream as we go into turn 1, and oh, look at that, he's tapped our right rear tyre, sent us most of the way over, and he's gonna swing round us. Not quite hit the apex, but we're of course out of position due to the tap and the contact, and we're going to lose the place, and Hamilton's now going to essentially drive off into the distance, and our super soft tyres are now starting to feel very second hand by this point. You see the level of grip we've got is not exactly what we'd be looking for at this stage of the Grand Prix, but there's still 12 laps to go. You just heard Fernando Alonso takes the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. Räikkönen had got us there. We take a bit of a cut through line, as it were, in turn 1, and we jump up ahead of him. And look, you see what I mean about the tyre wear. The front wing damage is not helping the front tyres. They're scrubbing across the track and they're wearing quicker. But essentially, we can't look to pit yet because there's too many cars behind us. We would lose too much. 1 lap later, we're coming up to turn 2. There's a yellow flag. There's a parked car. It's Hamilton. Hamilton is on the apex. Just stopped there. What the hell issues Hamilton actually had? Räikkönen's come through into 3rd place with Hamilton. We're going to stop. It's just going to stop. He's got a flat left rear. But he's just going to sit on the apex. That's going to cause massive issues. Everyone's sort of parked up now. Behind Hamilton, there's a Force India there. Here comes a Red Bull. Oh, and he's made horrible contact, as you can see. It's Max Verstappen as we hard cut over to him. All the cars piled up. He's gone straight into the back of the Force India. We're going to jump cut to lap 26 now. You can see that Hamilton, having that issue bunching the pack up, has given a huge gap, so we have to take the opportunity now. We have to come in and change our tyres. If we don't do that, then we're going to be the ones losing out. Räikkönen goes ahead of us 2nd. I like the way that, you know, we get off an alternate strategy as we're pulling in. Essentially, I was going to try and run to about lap 30 and put on Ultra Softs, but I realised going to 27 and putting on Super Softs might be the better call, especially with the front wing damage, so we can hope to be a bit easier on the tyres, because we did do the soft tyres in the tyre management programme, and the size of the gap that was left for us, you see Rosberg ducking in for a final pit stop, and it's going to allow, of all people, Kevin Magnussen up into 4th position. He hasn't scored a single point this season, but as you just heard the race engineer say, scrub tyres. This is a scrub set of super soft tyres. We didn't really get anyone else sort of come at us. In fact, lap 32, the only sort of interest is Valtteri Bottas having that really nice camera angled massive engine failure though. So here we go, we're lap 33. Kimi Raikkonen is in the pits. He's already pit once for another set of ultra soft tyres. He's had to come through again. I don't know if he perhaps sped in the pit lane because it only appears to be a drive through this time. So whatever he's done caused him to have to come through the pits, and it means that we have Alonso in the McLaren Honda leading and a Renault 2-3. We've only got 2.5 laps to go in the Austrian Grand Prix, and now we're coming through for the final corner of the penultimate lap. Here's what you're going to get. You're going to get one unedited lap. Look at our tyres. That front left is absolutely screaming in agony. It should not be on a Formula 1 car at this point. That should be thrown out and discarded. But no, it has to do the remaining mileage of the final lap of the Austrian Grand Prix on our front left. We've had Kevin Magnussen. We'd built a good gap to him after our pit stop, and now, of course, he's bearing down on us because he's been kinder on his tyres. I can officially now tell you I know what driving on tyres that have fallen off the cliff feels like. These were the most dead, unresponsive set of tyres I've ever driven on. Fernando Alonso gets the win for McLaren Honda, does what Button couldn't do in Monaco, and in turn 3 we've just got no grip. Look at the understeer. I make a team decision right here on my own accord to let Kevin Magnussen through because Kimi Raikkonen on fresh ultra softs is bearing down on him. Look at the car, it can't turn in. Look at that front left. I'm surprised it hasn't given way at 88%, but we're just going to go slow as you like. K-Mag is going to pick up 2nd place in the Austrian Grand Prix, and we're just going too slow. Raikkonen, with his bigger power unit and the ultra soft tyres, comes through, takes 3rd. We're just about tuck it at 90% on the front left. I don't know how it's going to survive. It is going to survive, and we're going to come through to take 4th position in the Austrian Grand Prix. I can't be too sad with that result. Wait, 3rd? Apparently we've picked up 3rd place, even though we crossed the line in 4th. You saw it there, Raikkonen got us with 2 corners to go. Well, no issues with McLaren, you know, Alonso is clearly shown as the race winner. So, who had the issues? There's definitely a Renault in Parc Ferme.
I think the key here was just the quality of the racecraft, you know. I mean, how many overtakes did they make overall? I'm sure we had a stat person keeping score somewhere, and it was fantastic to watch, wasn't it? This is a strategic sport at the end of the day, but it's always really gratifying to see close-fought battles on track. It's what all the fans are after.
Our drivers are making their way out.
Alonso, K-Mag and myself. So Kimi Raikkonen must have had some kind of time penalty, and that has allowed us to take 3rd place. And we're going to carry more silverware back to the factory. Look at that. We're on a roll at the moment. And Kevin Magnussen's picked up 2nd place. You know, he's capitalised where everyone else was falling off the road, crashing, having problems. There's a podium I didn't expect to see in this career mode, if I'm honest. A McLaren Honda with 2 Renaults around, especially a track that requires a good power unit like Austria.
And now let's take a look at the driver's stats.
There's proof Raikkonen had 3 penalties resulting in 17 seconds.
It's got to be Rio Haryanto.
Drops him to 5th. Haryanto and Pascal Wehrlein in manner scoring points. Well, that's... You don't even know how to go there. What a Grand Prix. What an Austrian Grand Prix. You know, Alonso with a one-stop. Alonso and Magnussen pulling one-stop strategies. Clearly being a lot kinder on their tyres than I could. And that's why they made the jump today from 11th to 13th. Thus 6th. We get 3rd. But everyone else fell down the order. You know, you got people like Vettel who had to make 4 pit stops in the end. Hamilton was a lap down. The Mercedes in 19th and 20th places. That's definitely not what they would have wanted around Austria. Grosjean manages to pick up a point, bearing in mind he made that early pit stop and was absolutely nowhere for the most part. You know, we didn't even see him aside from when he pit. We didn't even see him on track. you know. So it puts us up to 4th in the Drivers' Championship on 82 points, 20 points off Kimi Räikkönen and ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Definitely not where I expected to be. And as you can see, Kevin Magnussen with 18 points jumps him to 16th place. You know, a good solid result has now added, especially as well to Renault's total now, as we sit on a nice 100 points. And essentially we're sitting pretty as best of the rest behind the 3 big boys. And I think they're a lot sooner than I expected to be, if I'm honest. Here's, of course, the resource points that we're going to get for the Grand Prix. You know, doing well, penalty-free race. We gained positions, which I would have been happy to finish 6th. But, you know, gaining the positions, there's our first driver bonus for 1197. And the rivalry update, well, we beat him. It looked a bit close for a moment, but we've done him. We've beat Romain Grosjean in our rivalry. Absolutely smashed him. And, of course, Renault. Why wouldn't Renault be happy with us? You know, I mean, whatever happened with our tyres this race, I genuinely don't know what happened with the tyres. But we can look back at this Grand Prix proud. A double podium for the Renault team. And, you know, we actually showed that we can fight on track with people and make some overtakes. But thank you very much for watching, guys. Do leave a like if you have enjoyed it. Really helps me out, and I really appreciate it. Comment any feedback down below. What you like, what you don't like, things like that. I think we're going to have a look now at making our next big upgrades to the car, due to, as we've got near as makes no difference, 1200 resource points. And I think it'll be what I mentioned before, chassis weight and downforce. So hopefully the R&D in Silverstone will allow us to get those. But again, if you have enjoyed, please leave that like, comment any feedback down below, subscribe and enable notifications to be the first notified about content coming to the channel, and I will see you all next time.